for any day, sorry, no, Yante assembly. Any day, Black Thursday. Nekwa say, 2025 free baby na ye rishi sanke be kwentem because it means say rap channel bible ne kan wasem ne nim say na ACC a si ehwe ye we ya nkrofo mo firi dia no odin pan ye titi fo bebre na efrim ye we bebre na efrim na ye nim say judgment de na esi dia ebusuafo ye nim and that day ye Nana Konadu Rawlings former first lady wa to na no e wo ensiedo na ebusuafo na oyare kakra na oyare name what reporting a cool first lady there e na meto dwaye but and then no pay anoko pay mo rich hospital fofia to ata ko no timi ansa ankofie now report kakra en saka hanom efri Ghana web alebusia for me kan e de achew no o say former first lady of Ghana Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings has reportedly passed away at the age of 76 at the Rich Hospital in Accra. See, according to reports, Agyemang Rawlings had been unwell for some time now and was under close medical supervision to her passing. Not just a non-home fan crazy, I say, Naka crazy no way in and I say, Kemuno. Now the home drink a crabby, as and who and who ya crabby. It's now or the Joshua, ye shannon sank and whom ebetono. Yet also, I say she was the wife of the late former President Jerry John Rawlings and played a prominent role in Ghana politics and some advocacy. And actually says Kaya, a former president, I was the Fourth Republic of Ghana, Jerry John Rawlings, and Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings. Yet also for him. Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings was widely recognized for her leadership in championing women's rights and empowering communities across the country. It's not just a first lady and Kwanemo not say leader, and the champion women's rights and the empowering communities across the country. Not to say go for me bring no. Aside some first lady, you know. On the year 1981 to 2001, I know a first lady, you know. Now you name no so say or say the leader man, the champion women's rights, no a leader, and so honum. It was afraid to also say details surrounding her passing remain unclear, as both her family and hospital authorities have yet to issue an official statement. She served as Ghana's first lady from 1981 to 2001, cinema boss, and was the founder and leader of the National Democratic Party, that is NDP, and National Democratic Party. She also established the 1st December Women's Movement, and DWM, in the 1982, an initiative aimed at empowering Ghanaian women through entrepreneurship, education, and political participation. Her last public appearance was on September 18, 2005. Where she was accompanied by her children to the final funeral rites of the Asante Hema Nana Konadu Yadom the third at the Menchia Palace in Kumasi. That is a for social video here. 18th of September Nana Konadu Yadom the third to the Crabiano. I obemu biane nemba ebemu biane ye fepa video no elegusu etwemu screen so no. It's a for singing asana kwedie. Ade portia ekun Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings, the former first lady no enya emeto dwaye afina ye twen amebusuafo ene Rich Hospital doctor se wo hono no so the official statement ababo ntama yehu say any say ana ekun no ebusuafo ghanainntv ni gusu edi assemnichi de besi bia no fa kame ahwefo ne etie for da.
Also remember their mom for the role she's played in the history of this country, especially from the Fourth Republic and even before the Fourth Republic. Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings is one person you can say is the standard of who we measure to be a first lady in this country. For most of us who had grown up from the beginning of the Fourth Republic, anytime you talk about the first lady of the Republic of Ghana and you want to compare the measure up there was Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings. Who was Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings? Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings is from the Ashanti descent. She's from Kumasi, her dad from Kumasi, her mom from Kumasi and Achim. She was born in Cape Coast to her parents who were then working in the central region. They moved from the central region to different parts of Ghana. She started her education in Nkoko, then to Accra, where she went to preparatory school somewhere around the Osu Cemetery, then moved to GIS. After GIS, she then went to the Achimota School, where she spent a number of years, her formative years, in Achimota School. In Achimota School, she was engaged in so many things, sports, music, debates, everything. She was there. Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings moved from Achimota School to the KNUST, where she did her tertiary education. After tertiary education, she then went into the work life, public service, work life, then got married to Jerry John Rawlings. Jerry John Rawlings, who later became the president of the Republic of Ghana. First came in as a military leader, then became president in the Fourth Republic. Nana Konadu, during the time, was the pillar, you could say, behind the man Jerry John Rawlings. People talk about Jerry John Rawlings, talk about a lot of the things Jerry John Rawlings had done in this country, the kind of impact he had made in this country. But when you talk to people who are close to Jerry John Rawlings, you talk to people who are close to the Rawlingses and close to the NDC, the PNDC, the AFRC, they tell you that Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings was the pillar behind the man Jerry John Rawlings. Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings is also said to be the one behind the intellectual group which formed the PNDC.
Right.
So it's through her where people like P.V. Obin and the Ahoys, the senior Ahoy, Ato Ahoys, were introduced to her husband at the time, Jerry John Rawlings, and they helped to form that intellectual part of the NDC outside the military. Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings, again, started the 31st December Women's Movement in 1982. That movement has affected and helped so many people in this country. When you talk about Nana Konadu, there's one thing nobody forgets about the fact that she is one of the first women advocates in this country. When she took over as First Lady from the 1980s, set up the 31st December Women's Movement, went into every part of this country, building schools, building nursery schools, encouraging women to start businesses, was pushing advancement of women and children. She was not left out also in the political scene. She, one of the founders of the NDC, was very influential in the party till the 2012 when she decided to actually run for presidential candidate for the or flag bearer for the party in 2012. She went against then former president J.E.A. Mills. This was a very intense campaign. That was the campaign where it was termed the Fonka and Game campaign. The Fonka, which was Friends of Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings, against the Get Atta Mills elected. That was a very intense campaign. Eventually, she lost that particular election. After losing that particular election, Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings did not end there. She exited the NDC, formed the NDP. She contested or tried to contest the presidential elections, which she failed once. The next time, she got on the ballot, but then could not win. Since her time after, from 2012, 2020, she's been engaged in a lot of social issues. There's a fun part of Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings going for entertainment programs. You see her dancing, her singing. She was a true definition of a stateswoman before her passing.
Indeed, Ghana has lost a great woman, and condolences to the family to the NDC fraternity, and of course to the NDP as well. Now, so let's look at who Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings was within the political landscape of Ghana. Now, we can see she was, since she's passed. She was the wife of the late former president, Jerry John Rawlings, and together they had 4 children, Dr. Zaneto Agyemang Rawlings, Ya Santwa, Amina, and Kumasi. Now, she began her education at the Ghana International School and later attended Achimota School, where she met Jerry John Rawlings. Nana Konadu continued to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where she studied arts and textiles. She later obtained a diploma in interior design from the London College of Arts in 1975 and has since pursued several management and development courses both in Ghana and abroad. Nana Konadu served as Ghana's First Lady briefly in 1979 and then continuously from December 31, 1981 until January 2001. That's January 7, 2001, during her husband's 2-decade rule. Now, as First Lady, she redefined the role, and that's what Fred was speaking about, moving beyond ceremonial duties to active involvement in social programs, advocacy, and institution building. One of her most notable achievements was the founding of the 31st December Women's Movement in the early 1980s. Under her leadership, the movement championed women's empowerment, community development, literacy, and health initiatives across the country. Now, there's nowhere, no corner in this country that you travel to that you won't find if you like, something to represent the 31st December Women's Movement. Every corner of the country, you find either a mill for women to grind their maize, or there's definitely something. Even markets. Yes. Remember that the 31st December Women's Movement markets at Mokola. And so let's continue with the biography of this great woman. Now, after leaving office in 2001, Nana Konadu remained politically active. In 2012, she broke away from the National Democratic Congress to form the National Democratic Party, the NDP. She later contested the 2016 presidential elections as the party's flag bearer, a move seen as both a critique of the NDC's direction and an effort to promote her vision of ethical leadership and inclusive development. Over the years, Nana Konadu has built an image as a strong, outspoken, and confident figure, especially on issues of women's participation in governance and social equity. Her signature traditional head wraps, or duku, became part of a recognizable public persona. However, her public life has been without controversy. She and the Rawlings family have faced several allegations over the years. But that notwithstanding, she's held her own. She's held her head up high, as Fred has already indicated, as a strong pillar behind the man who ruled this country for 2 decades, and if you like, or more, if we were to add all the years from 79 up until 2001, when he handed over to John Agyekum Kufuor. And so Nana Konadu has been that pillar behind Jerry John Rawlings, who passed on earlier, and a quite difficult moment for the Rawlingses at this moment. And with all that we've read about her, and even from her own book,